Hello everyone. Welcome to Confessions Jury, where people put themselves on the spot, waiting for your judgment. Sit comfortably and listen carefully, as you're about to hear today's cases. You hold the hammer and you apply the law. Let us have your verdict down in the comments section. As always, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Let's head on to our first case. Case 1. Am I the bad person for refusing to let my parents live with me after they loaned me money to buy my house? About a year ago, I, 29M, bought my first home. My parents generously offered me $20,000 toward the down payment, which they framed as a gift. I was extremely grateful, as they knew I'd been saving for years and wanted a place to call my own. I'd even invited them to celebrate with me the day I got the keys, and everything seemed fine. Fast forward to 3 months ago, my dad lost his job unexpectedly, and my mom's part-time work isn't enough to support them. They called me up one day and casually mentioned that they'd be moving in with me until they get back on their feet. I was stunned, as they'd never asked, they'd just assumed. When I hesitated, they reminded me of the $20,000 they'd given me for the house and said it was time I paid them back by helping them out. This was news to me. They'd repeatedly assured me it was a gift, no strings attached, and that they were just happy to help me achieve my dream of homeownership. Now they were calling it a loan, even though there was never any mention of repayment, let alone interest, or expectations of them moving in someday. I was hesitant but willing to talk about it, and I suggested they stay temporarily. They dismissed this and said they'd be moving in indefinitely until things turn around, adding that they'd expect full access to the house and even suggested taking over my office as their bedroom. They also told me they'd like to have more say in how I run my home. After all, they helped pay for it. Feeling cornered, I explained that while I love them and would gladly help in other ways, like paying some of their bills temporarily or letting them stay for a set period, I wasn't comfortable with them moving in indefinitely. This is my home, my sanctuary, and I've worked hard for it. They were furious, saying I was ungrateful and that families should support each other. They also claimed that since they invested in the house, they're entitled to live in it as long as they need. My dad even hinted that he'd take me to court if I didn't pay back their loan, though I'm fairly certain he was bluffing. Now, several family members have weighed in, saying I'm the asshole for turning my back on my parents after they helped me buy my house. But I feel like they changed the terms after the fact, and I don't think it's fair to demand indefinite housing when that was never part of the deal. So, am I the bad person for refusing to let my parents move in after they loaned me the down payment? What do you guys think? Lay down your ruling in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Case 2. Am I the bad person for going behind my wife's back and telling her pregnant sister that she's being cheated on? I have been married to my wife for 3 years. I am 27 and she's 26. My SIL is 30 and my POS bill is 31. I always had a close relationship with my SIL. We are friends. Also has a decent connection between my bill, not that close, but we often talk and get along. My wife and her sister didn't get along as much as you would expect from siblings. It wasn't just normal siblings rivalry, but constant fights and arguments. Anyway, 3 weeks ago when I was having dinner with my friends, I saw my bill with another woman. They were just eating. I didn't think much of it. I wanted to go and greet him, but I kept talking to my friends. After a while I saw that he gave a light kiss to this woman. I was so shocked. I decided to not confront him, and when I got back to my home I told my wife everything. I told her that her sister is getting cheated on and we need to tell her. My wife said we should talk to my bill instead of telling her sister, and we should not break their marriage because her sister is pregnant. I was like, WTF? So what if she's pregnant? Her husband is a cheat. I tried to convince my wife multiple times that we should tell her sister the truth. I told her that I know you guys don't get along, but she's still your sister and this isn't right, but she asked me to stay out of it. I tried my best to convince my wife, but she either ignored me or said we shouldn't break their marriage. I had enough of her, and yesterday I told her that I am coming clean to my SIL. She and I have a great bond and I can't and won't betray her. My wife said if I tell her the truth she will not talk to me. I replied I won't talk to you either if you don't want to do what's right. Today I told my the truth. I went to her place and told her everything. She was doubtful and she asked me to leave. After a few hours, my sil called me and she was crying and said what I said was the truth and she shouldn't have doubted me and kicked me. She said she's leaving. I asked her, where would you go? Do you have money? She said she does, but not that much. I wired her a bit and said she should call me if she needs help, and she thanked me and said she will only use the money I sent if it's necessary, otherwise she will return. My bill called my wife and my wife lashed onto me and said I ruined her family and her sister's life. I said I thought the moment we got married your family is mine and my family is yours. Anyway, YTF are you defending that POS so much? What about your sister? She didn't reply to me and she's not talking to me either. I tried to talk to her and convince her that it was the right thing to do, but she wouldn't talk to me, so I said fine, stay angry, and if you want to divorce me then go ahead. I think I have nuked my marriage. Do not know if what I did was truly right. What do you guys think of this one? Let us know in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Case 3. Am I the bad person for popping my husband's bubble that he's been a provider? When I met my husband 4 years ago, he had around $100K in saving and left his job to be self-employed. That has brought in $0 and he had not made any money or worked since then. I got pregnant with an oopsie baby after being on antibiotics. Since then, my husband has been adamant against me working and will not provide childcare for me to do so. We haven't had our own place since I moved out of my apartment when I was 4 months pregnant. We've lived in an unplumbed cabin on his parents' property that was infested with rats. Twice I found them in bed with our infant, and now we live with my brother. We've hemorrhaged his original saving because he insisted we build our own place and not waste money renting. It's a studio that is still not move-in ready. It was started in April 2023. We've pretty much run out of money to finish our house. I've begged him to work since before our son was born, but he said every job was paying too little to be worth his time. He finally got serious about working 3 months ago, but still hasn't found anything because less than $30 per hour is too low despite not having a degree and a 4-year work gap. I recently found out I was pregnant again despite using protection, and I can't do this anymore. I've lie all night awake because it's so uncomfortable and then spend all day chasing around our toddler while he watches TV or plays video games. I recently hit my breaking point and told him this was unacceptable. We need to use the last 5-10K to get an apartment even if we have to scale down our lifestyle. He's hit back that I'm just ungrateful and that all my basic needs have been provided for. He said I've always had a roof over my head, food to eat, etc. And I need to be more understanding because we're still starting out and he's focused on lifelong wealth, not comfort right now. It completely set me off. I told him the roof over my head wasn't his, and that privacy and a place of our own, even if it's shitty, is a bare necessity he hasn't provided once. I told him a real provider would have gotten a job at McDonald's the moment I got pregnant. $15 an hour is more than the zero he makes. I don't remember the rest because I was literally seeing red, but I essentially described all the ways he acts like a loser and told him if the shoe fits, wear it. He's decided that my outburst has destroyed our relationship and I am the villain for not being grateful for what I have and his hard work. I think I've just been pushed too far. I know my delivery was shitty, but I feel like this man's refusal to work has ruined all of our lives. Can't wrap my head around that story. What do you think? Who is in the wrong there? Let us know down in the comments section and let's move on to our last case. Case 4. Am I the bad person for cutting off my mother-in-law after she made a joke about poking holes in our condoms? I, 38F, have been together with my husband James for 4 years. We are both child-free and do not intend to have kids in the future. When we first got married, we both told our family about how we didn't want to have kids and why. My family was fine with it, but his wasn't. Especially his MIL, who I'll call Mary for privacy. She's either passive-aggressive or just tells us we'll change our minds soon. For example, telling us, I can't wait to be a grandma, despite us not wanting children. If we try to say otherwise, she just pretends not to hear us. I've been very uncomfortable with this, and I have told my husband multiple times, but he's just brushed it off by saying she'll accept it someday. However, it reached a limit. Recently, James was hosting a dinner party and invited his family as well as mine. While we were eating, his MIL jokingly said, "You know, OP, I've considered poking holes into you and James' condoms so I could be a grandma. It's so smart, and you'd never know." Before laughing. I was horrified. After that, I excused myself and left the house. James followed after me, saying I was being dramatic and it was a joke. I told him that it wasn't a joke and what would happen if she actually did it. We kept arguing for a bit before he stormed back into the house and I drove off in my car. I've blocked my MIL on all social media and deleted her number. The whole family is furious at me now, calling me sensitive and paranoid. Am I the bad person? You've sat down, you've listened. Now, it's time to state your ruling. What is it gonna be? Let us have it down in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more cases like these. In life, we may run, but we can never hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.